mentions in the Torah, mentioned in this week's parasha. Mentions this week's parasha. ועשה בצלאל ועליאב וכל איש חכם לב אשר נתן אדוני חוכמה ותבונה בהמה לדעת לעשות את כל מלאכת עבודת הקודש לכל אשר ציווה אדוני. It says in chapter 36, verse 2, or verse 1, Betzalel shall carry out with Oliav, and every wise-hearted man within whom Hashem had endowed wisdom and insight to know and to do all the work for the labor of the sanctuary. Labor of the sanctuary in Hebrew is called Avodat HaKodesh. And insight, everything that Hashem had commanded. So in essence, Hashem gave them a certain wisdom to do everything that Hashem commanded. Avodat HaKodesh. It says Betzalel is doing it. Betzalel is in Shul Torah tonight, right? He's in Shul Torah right now. What's Shul Torah? At 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Avodat HaKodesh. So you're doing what it says in Torah. Told you in this parasha. So now, Rabotai, you have plenty of people that think they're doing Avodat HaKodesh, but in reality they're working for the Satan himself. Many people. Sometimes they're not Jewish. Sometimes they're Jewish. Like for example, you have a bunch of Jews in the world that tell you that they're Dati Balev. They're religious in their heart. There's a certain woman that reads literally half a book of Tehillim a day. Half a book of Tehillim a day. You check into it and you say, listen, you have to do TeShuva. What TeShuva? I'm reading half a book of Tehillim. No, show me anybody else reading half a book of Tehillim a day. I said, there's other people who read even more than that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good that you read half a book of Tehillim. But Hashem didn't command, it's not one of the 10 commandments to read half a book of Tehillim a day. But Hashem did see to keep Shabbat. You have to keep Shabbat. No, that's just you. No, it's 10 commandments. Hashem also said that you have to be modest. You have to be modest. He almost killed all of Am Yisrael because of lack of modesty. Parashat Balak, Parashat Pinchas. She reads Tehillim half naked. She thinks that Hashem is a boyfriend. And Rabotai, this is not new. This is normal. Unfortunately, this is normal. This is normal behavior. And you tell people certain things, and they simply just don't want to listen sometimes. They just simply don't want to listen. Now, for all of those that think that they have the truth better than what the Torah says, there's a verse for them. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 10. Verse 9 actually. It says, Mesir ozno mishmoa Torah, gam tfilato to'eva. Mesir ozno mishmoa Torah, gam tfilato to'eva. One who turns aside his ear from hearing Torah, even his prayer is considered an abomination. Meaning, someone, you tell them, listen, you have to keep Shabbat, you have to keep Tarat Mishpacha, you have to keep the law, there's a law to do. No, it's enough. I'm reading a full Tehillim every day. I pray all day. You know how much I love Hashem, I talk to Hashem all day. I talk to Hashem, I this to Hashem, I go Yitbodedut, I do this. Okay, but Yitbodedut is not one of the halachot. Reading Tehillim is not one of the halachot. It's good, it's nice, Chazak u'Baruch, but that's not halakha, that's not the law. It's the law, and then there's things that you do above the law. That's good. First you have to do the law. Law is you have to be modest. Law is you have to keep Shabbat. Law is you have to be kosher. Law is you have to eat kosher. Be kosher and eat kosher. And so on and so forth. There's the law. It says, no, I'm good where I'm at. I'm good where I'm at. I'll keep praying to Hashem, I'm okay. Shlomo HaMelech is saying, you are actively deciding to listen to different Torah, not to the Torah of Hashem. Just so you know, what Hashem is telling you is, your prayer, your mitzvot, your Tehillim, your everything that you're doing is considered 100% to'evat Hashem, disgusting to Hashem, abomination. You're praying to the wall, you're not praying to Hashem. You go to do it by yourself with the trees, you're praying to the Asher trees, you're not praying to Hashem. All the things that you're doing, if it's not what it says in the book, if you're actively deciding to not listen to what the book says, it's considered nothing, zero. One big zero. One big zero. Why? You decide to make a new law. Now, a lot of people say, no, it's a little too much. Some speakers say it nicer. The same exact Proverbs chapter talks about them too. The Proverbs we just talked about was in 28:9. This one, if you fast forward to 28:23, just a few. Mochiach Adam אחרי כן ימצא מחליק לשון. One who rebukes a person will later find favor, more than one with a flattering tongue. Translation: you know, the guy that's rebuking you, it's giving it to you on your head, and is telling you have to do TeShuva, everything you know until now is a lie, you have to do TeShuva, you have to do what HaShem says, not what some guy said. Rebukes you. In the end, you're going to like him. In the end, you're going to like the guy that rebukes you. Much more than the guy that tells you you're a tzaddik. Much more than the guy that tells you believe in yourself with the flattering tongue. Who tells you, oh, you're good, you're good, you're good, don't worry, you're good. They're just crazy, they're just fanatic, they're just Hitler, they're just Haman, they're Amalek. The flattering tongue, you're going to hate him in the end. Why? Because you're going to be in Gehinnom with him. The one that rebukes, that's what Shlomo HaMelech says. You're going to like the one that rebukes you much more than the one that flatters you. Why? Because the one that's flattering you is going to get you to Gehinnom. He's not getting you anywhere good. The one that's giving you nice messages, you're tzaddik, you're good, you're good, you're good, he's not helping you. He's hurting you. He's hurting you. Now, Rabbi Ephraim says, in Avot, in Pirkei Avot, we learned it almost a year ago already. There's a Avot, there's a Pirkei Avot that says, Shgagat Talmud Ola Zadon. A mistake that you make by misunderstanding something, or just not knowing it, it's called shogeg. Shgaga. So if you made a mistake, you didn't know that you're not allowed to turn on the lights on Shabbat. Simple mistake. Somebody told you you're allowed, you didn't know. If it's only because you really didn't know, you studied it but you misunderstood it, or somebody misexplained it to you, that's shogeg. But if it's because you did not study, and you didn't double check what he said, and you didn't double check what you thought, meaning you're lazy, you just by default, you heard it on YouTube, you said, oh, this must be true. You heard it from some guy with a beard and long payas, this must be true. He says you're allowed to be with your wife when she's nida, it must be true. He says you're allowed to do, must be true. He said it, he has a beard. Goat has a beard also, but that's aside from the point. The point is, Rabotai, if your mistake came because you're lazy spiritually and you didn't double check, or even worse, you became your own rabbi, Shgagat Talmud Ola Zadon. Your shogeg, your accidental sin in Shamayim now became intentional. As if you intentionally violated the words of HaShem. Why? Because your laziness was intentional. Your decision not to study and double check was intentional. It's not that you didn't know because you just never got there and you were on the way there, but you died before you got there. No, you were never planning on studying. You were playing video games instead. You were working instead. You were watching the stock market instead. You were doing everything else instead of worrying about what Hashem said. This, Abotai, is very, very dangerous. And the reason why is because sometimes people could learn Torah, could learn certain things on the side. They learn, in between Mincha and Arvit. They learn a little bit in the morning after Shachrit. People usually say Alacha Yomit. And they feel good about themselves. They feel fine. They feel good. They feel, listen, this is it's fun. I learn Alacha. It says Tana Debe Eliyahu. Kol halamed halachot. There is someone that learns halachot every day, gets olam haba. They take it literally that you're actually going to get olam haba because you learn 2 halachot and after shachrit. Like they literally think that's all they have to do just to get olam haba. It's just to learn 2 halachot to get olam haba. And they learn Torah like on the side, like they're doing God a favor. After shachrit, in between mincha and arvit, and this gives them a certain sense of comfort. It's a false sense of comfort. It's a false sense of security that Rabbi Ephraim calls Gan Eden shel Hashotim, the Gan Eden of the drunk people. The Gan Eden of the drunk people. It's like their belief is so far from reality, they're so confident they have Gan Eden, that they're literally like Shotim, they're just drunk people.